Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem and welcome back to today's Daf Yomi, which is Yevamos Kuf Yud Gimel. We start right on top of the Amud, Umayshna. Now we know that the Chachamim were masakin that a katana or even a chireshes, deaf mute girl can get married. Although in Torah they don't have the ability to marry, the Rabbanon introduced the institution of marriage in this case as well. We discussed this yesterday and the reasons for this takana. Now actually, we're going to see that there are some differences between the marriage of a katana and the marriage of a chireshes. We're going to explore some differences and try to figure out why indeed these differences exist. Why is it so that if one marries a katana, she can partake in his truma? He's a kohen, he can feed her teruma. Teruma midrabanan, obviously. Because truma, which is truma min Torah, she may not eat. But truma midrabanan, he can feed her. In contrast to if a fellow married a chereshes, he cannot feed her truma. How do we know this? None. The Mishnah says, "Hey, the Rabbi Yehuda Kessler." Rabbi Yehuda testified the following two halachas. Number one, Allah chereshes shesiya avia. If a katana was married off by her father, then she became a chereshes along the way and became a gdola. She yotze beget. So although her marriage was min ha-Torah, because it was done by the father, and now she's a chereshes, unable to really comprehend. She doesn't have the full das. Still, her husband can give her get, as we learned yesterday, because, forget, you do not need her consent. You do not need her das. That's number one. Val katana bas Yisrael. Number two, he testified that a katana bas Yisrael who married a kohen with a marriage which is only midrabanan. Val katana bas Yisrael shenisas lekohen shecheles betruma. She can have his truma. So katana eats truma. Vilu chereshes lo yachla. But if a kohen should marry a chereshes, same idea. It's an isur midrabanan. No truma. Why? Answers the Gemara Gezerah concerned Shema Yachel Cheresh B'Chereshes. If you allow the kohen to feed the chereshes, next time he might be a cheresh as well, feeding his wife the chereshes. What's wrong with that? V'leichel, let her eat. Katan oichel nevelesu. At worst, it's a katan, or in this case, it's a cheresh who's not yet obligated, does not have chiv of mitzvahs, eating something aser, like a katan eating a nevela. It's not our business, not our concern. So these two people are not chayiv in mitzvahs. Who cares what they're eating? Gzeiro shemeyachal cheresh bepikachas. The chashash is that if you allow the pikeach to feed his wife cheresh, or the cheresh feed the cheresh, next time he might be a kohen cheresh feeding his wife a pikachas. What's wrong with that? Well, if she's a pikachas, she's an adult, she's an understanding adult, she is chayiv in mitzvahs, responsible for her actions. She may not have his truma. What do you mean? Says the Gemara, who cares? V'cheresh b'pikachas nami. Even if it were so, that this will lead to that, which will lead to that, which will lead to the cheresh feeding the pikachas. V'cheresh b'pikachas nami. Leichel b'truma d'rabbanon. After all, we are speaking about truma d'rabbanon. There's no issa d'oraisa involved. Chacham allow it. Here comes the punchline. And Rashi says that the whole back and forth in the Gemara was really leading up to this teretz. Gezerah, you know why we don't allow a kohen to feed his wife who's a chereshes? She can't have his truma, even though it's truma d'rabbanon. Gezerah dilma asi la'oichla b'truma d'oraisa. Because perhaps they won't differentiate. Next time, he's going to be the cheresh, she's going to be the pikachas, and they'll feed her not only truma midrabanan, but even truma d'oraisa, which of course is not roi for this isha. So the question was, why is it that a katana can have truma and cheireshes can't? Answer: if you allow the cheireshes, it might lead to a pikachas having truma, not only a truma midrabanan, even truma midaraisa. Of course, she cannot do that because she's a Yisraelis and not really married to this kohen. However, says Rashi, when it comes to a katana, nobody will confuse the two. A katana and a gdayla, different worlds, different age bracket, and therefore there's no gzera there. We allow the katana to have his truma without any concern. We find one more difference between katana and cheireshes regarding kesuba rights. Why is it that when a fellow marries a katana, he is obligated to pay her the ksuba upon divorce or death? We don't have the same by cheireshes. Why didn't the chachamim activate the chiyuv ksuba by cheireshes as well? You know what? If you make it too difficult, people will not get involved with cheireshes. It's difficult enough as it is. Don't pile it up. Don't pose another obstacle along the way. Make it easy. Make her attractive. Says the Gemara, Uktana minolan disla ksuba. How do you even know this as true? That a katana will get ksuba and a cheireshes not. It's not. Hamamanis. A katana who was married and decided to walk away, to reject her husband. It's her fault. She can't just turn around and claim ksuba payments. Or a fellow who married his relative, a secondary relative, Asamid Rabbanah. There as well, there was no ksuba. Chachamim rescinded the ksuba obligations. Third case is ve'ailanis, a woman who physically cannot bear children. In all these cases, ein lahen ksuba, in the case of the ailanis, because he was unaware of this. It was a mekach tos. This is not what I had in mind. So we see from this Mishnah, the Ktana theoretically will have ksuba because she walks away. She loses the ksuba. Nobody asked her to walk away. But otherwise, aval yoytze begetu Ktana, yesh lo ksuba. Suppose she got a get. Even if she's a Ktana, she will get ksuba. Right? Just like an adult yoytze beget, a Ktana as well. If she left me through a get, she gets ksuba. So Ktana gets the cheireshes minola and the less ksuba, but the cheireshes will not get ksuba upon her departure. How do we know? The Sanya. Cheirish v'shoita shenosu pikchos. Cheirish man, a shoita man, married a healthy woman. Af al pi shenispakeach a cheirish v'nishta behashoita. Even if the cheirish or shoita became healthy along the way, ein lahem aleim klum. There's no chiyuv ksuba at all, because they would have a chayiv ksuba to begin with. Ratzu l'kaiman. Now, let's say after they turn healthy, they decided, you know what, we want to hang on to this. We want to stay married. Yesh lahem ksuba. So in this case, they are chayiv in ksuba obligations. So if they married a cheirish, a shoita, even if the situation changed, they were healed along the way. It doesn't matter. They had no das when they started off. Right? And Chachamim were not masakin ksuba, even in a cheirish situation, so there's no ksuba at all. But if they decided, you know what, going forward, we want to be makayim, we want to keep this wife, in that case, it's like a revamped situation. They're recommitting to the marriage, and now that they're healthy, they are fully obligated in chiyuv ksuba. Continues the Mishnah. So shoita. He's healthy and she's a chereshes. She's a shoita. Afilu kasav lo me'amona. Ksubasa kayemas. So in this case, even if he committed to her in writing 100 mana, which is way more than the typical ksuba obligations, the obligation holds. He is chayiv to pay. Why? The Bryce explains. It doesn't happen on its own. He decided to he decided to commit himself to this exorbitant amount. He was mazik his nechasav. He brought a loss upon himself. It's his own. He did it by his own volition. It's not that we compelled him to do this. He volunteered. Fine. End of quote. Clearly, the chiyuv ksuba upon marrying a chereshes is only by volunteering. Right? You don't force it upon him. There's no takana. Tama the rotza. It's only because he offered. But if he is unwilling, ein la, there is no ksuba. There's no automatic ksuba for a chereshes. Why not? A ktana, yes. A chereshes, no. You think they're pretty much the same parsha. They're both the rabbanans. Why that difference? Answers the Gemara dimkein, because if you apply a ksuba to chereshes, mimni v'loy nasbila, people will not get involved with the chereshes. Make it easier, make it something that's something tempting. And therefore, the Chachamim did not activate chiyuv ksuba by the chereshes. The ktana, yes, but not the chereshes. Apparently, the ktana is not such a big burden. In fact, Rashi says regarding miyun, ktana is more of a limited time type of deficiency. Sooner or later she'll grow up, and after all she's healthy, nothing wrong. So in that case, we made the ksuba as part of the arrangement. Asks the Gemara, okay, so you're concerned about attraction, making it happen, right? You want it to be successful, you want people to do this marriage, you want the chereshes to be sought after, and therefore you do not apply ksuba obligations. If that's the case, if that's your consideration, then pikachas lecherish. She's healthy and he's a cherish. You want it to work. You want it to be an attractive choice, right? Litkan lo ksuba, let the chachamim in this case apply ksuba obligations. Dimken, because otherwise mimni v'loy minsabi, people won't be attracted to the man cherish, right? So in this case, it should reverse. Chachamim should apply a ksuba for this very same consideration. You want people to be okay with the cherish. Why is that not a concern? Says the Gemara, it's not a concern because yoser misha ish roitz lisa, more than when a man wants to marry. Isha roitz linasa, the woman wants to marry. The woman is more inclined to want to get married. It's just part and parcel of her nature, and therefore we're not concerned about this cherish attracting suitable matches. We don't need to go ahead and be machayiv and maksuba for him to land a successful shidduch. But, says the Gemara, there was actually a story how cherish, a fellow who was a cherish, the hava b'shivavusei, he lived in the neighborhood of the Rav Malkayu. And apparently Rav Malkayu was looking after him and his properties. An sebei itasa, so he found for him an isha, because of la arba me'azuzei minachasei, and he committed to 400 zuz of this cherish's nechasim as part of the marriage arrangement, as part of the ksuba obligation. So in this case, he saw fit, he saw a need, he saw that it would be l'tayelis, it would benefit the cherish. Amar Rava, Rava says, I'm impressed. This was a smart move. Man chakim, who is a smart, who is a chacham? Karav Malkaya, the Gavar Rabbi, he's a great man. And this was a wise decision. Why? Kasavar, he figures, Ilu Ratza Shivcha L'Shamsha. This fellow was alone, disabled. He needed somebody to be at his side. Let's say he would have hired a Shivcha. If he needs a Shivcha to serve him, wouldn't we go ahead and take his money and use it for that purpose? Of course, certainly a wife. You have both benefits. She helps him, she serves him, and she's his wife, of course. The deal was well worth it. Okay, so bottom line is we find two differences between a chereshes and a ktana. One is regarding truma. The ktana, yes, the chereshes low, we're concerned about exera, that it might be pikachas eating, truma deraisa, which is a problem. Ksuba, ktana, yes, but not chereshes. We want people to be attracted to the chereshes situation, not shy away on account of this ksuba commitment. Continues the Gemara. Omar Rav Chia bar Ashi Amar Shmuel. Isha's cherish. A cherish marries, right? His wife. Ein chayovin aleh asham tali. If one interacts with his wife as married, typically an ish is a terrible avera and there's chatas if it's done b'shogig. But the wife of a cherish, not only is there no chatas, you don't even bring an asham tali, which was typically the carbon brought if one committed a suffix isser which involves kares. In this case, we don't say that the wife of the cherish is a suffix ish. No. It is vada, it is certain that she is not his wife minat Torah. Although midrabanan, yes, but minat Torah, she is not considered his wife. There's no karbanis, there's no asham taloi, there's no chatas. Leima mesayele, perhaps we'll have a riot to Shmuel's chiddush from a Mishnah in Maseches Trumos, which seems to indicate that minat Torah, a cherish is considered lacking das, who cannot perform a kinyan nor marry a wife. Chamisha lo yitroma, the following 5 individuals should not be separating truma. Vim tarmo, and even if they did it, it doesn't work. Ein trumas and truma. Who are they? We start with the cherish. Veilu ein cherish. Clearly, a cherish doesn't have the ability to accomplish much, to make a change of status. Cherish, shoite, v'katan, v'atoyre meshein shaloi. He does his friend's truma without permission. V'ovid kecham shetaram, shel Yisrael, or a guy, the truma on the crop of a Yisrael, afilu b'rishus Yisrael, ain't truma say truma. Even if the Yisrael gave him permission, doesn't work. We learn from a pasuk, gam atam, it has to be part of the Bnei Yisrael. So a cherish cannot do truma, even b'diavad. Apparently, he has no das. That's a right to Shmuel that his wife is not considered married. So is this a raya? Says the Gemara, not so fast, not necessarily. Why? Perhaps Shmuel would hold that an ishes cherish is a suffix ishes ish, because the cherish is considered a fellow who has somewhat limited das. So it's like a suffix. Is it a kinyan? Is it not a kinyan? Who damak Rabbi Lazar? Perhaps Shmuel follows Rabbi Lazar's shita, a different Tana, who holds that a cherish is considered a suffix ben das. The Sanya. Rabbi Yitzchak Aymer Mishum Rabbi Lazar. Truma's cherish. If a cherish performs truma lo yiteitze lechulin, so the truma that the cherish separates does not just revert to chulin. You know why? It's an unknown. V'pnei suffix. We don't know whether the cherish is considered a bar das or that he has sufficient mental capacity to perform kinyanim and to make truma. So perhaps Shmuel wasn't going like the Tanakama, that a cherish is considered lacking das completely. Perhaps he's somewhere in the middle. It's a suffix. Oh, 1 second. If it's a suffix, then his wife is an Asham Tali. If he follows Rabbi Lezer, the cherish is a suffix bar das, Asham Tali namin the chayv. So if one interacts with the cherish's wife, he committed a suffix isser. This is Asham Tali. Answer: Ba'inan chaticha mishtei chatiches. Although it's a suffix, but the halacha is that to bring in Asham Tali, it has to be a suffix avera committed as a result of making a choice between 2 separate pieces. You have a piece of chaylev, which is asr, a piece of another type of fat, shuman, which is mutar. You're not sure which one you ate. So you had a choice presented before you. You had a shtei chatichos. You had the isser there, and you're not sure if you interacted with the isser. Then you bring an asham tali. But by the isha of the cherish, there are no 2 women here. One is mutar, one is asr. It's one and the same person. It's an inherent uncertainty. In this case, there's no asham tali. That's the halacha. So perhaps Shmuel would consider the cherish as a partial bendas, and his truma is suffix truma. Nevertheless, when it comes to his wife, there's no asham tali because of this halach. Umi boy Rabbi Lazar. So you follow Rabbi Lazar, but Rabbi Lazar himself does not subscribe to this concept that you need to have one of 2 pieces in front of you. Look, Rabbi Lazar says, kvi, this hybrid type of creature, combined chaya behema. We're not sure how to define this kvi. Chayavan al chelbe Asham Tali. If one eats the chelav of this kvi, so if it's a behema, there's a chiv on the chelav. If it's a chaya, the chelav is mutter. You're not sure what he is, not sure how to classify him. You bring an Asham Tali upon eating the chelav of this one single creature. There are no two chatichas before you. You're not presented with a choice. So how can you tell me that would be a reason to delete the Asham Tali? Well, yeah, Shmuel, we're following Shmuel. Saval Rabbi Lezer b'chad. On the one hand, he will adopt Rabbi Lezer's view regarding the Cheresh. He's a Safek ben Das. So when it comes to Truma, we're not really going to do away with this Truma. It's a Safek Truma. But still, when it comes to the Isha of the Cheresh, there is no Asham Tali because Upalagali b'chad. On that account, he disagrees with Rabbi Lezer. He holds that in order to produce Asham Tali, it has to be one of two choices before you. So according to this Pshat in the Gemara, when Shmuel says that the Isha of a Cheresh is not considered a Eshes Ish, even with respect to an Asham Tali, perhaps Shmuel will hold that a Cheresh is a Safek Ben Das, and his Isha is a Safek Eshes Ish, but there will be no Asham Tali because it needs to be a Safek Aveira committed as a result of being faced with two options and having chosen one of them. There was another version of a Shmuel. The other way around. If one interacts with the wife of a Cheresh, Chayavan. Aleh Asham Tala, you are Chayav. What do you mean? Meisvei. What about that Mishnah which says that a Cheresh cannot perform any kinyanim? We have the following people, including the Cheresh, who cannot do Truma. Savala, Rabbi Lazar, Shmuel follows Rabbi Lazar. A Cheresh is a Safek Ben Das. His wife is a Safek Eshes Ish. And if one gets involved with his wife, he brings an Asham Tali because you do not need Chaticha Mashtei Chatichas, even if it's one single entity who carries within himself or within herself both possibilities. That is enough to generate an Asham Tali. So according to this version, Shmuel holds there is Asham Tali. Number one, because the Cheresh is a Safek, whether he can marry, and number two, even this type of Safek generates Asham Tali. Ba'a Rav Ashi. Here comes the Shaila. My time with Rabbi Lezer. Rabbi Lezer says, if a Cheresh separates Truma, you have to be concerned that perhaps it is Truma because he's a Safek Ben Das. There are two ways to look at it, qualitatively or quantitatively. Mifshat pshitale de cheresh data klishtahu. Is it because Rabbi Lezer says, it's clear to me, it's pasha to me, that whatever das, whatever mental abilities the cheresh has, is data klishta. It's a weakened, it's a limited type of comprehension. Right? So let's say 50%. Okay, so qualitatively it's 50%. Quantitatively it's 50%. The question is whether it is deficient qualitatively as well. That's the shaila. So quantity we know. What about quality? Still we have a shaila. Rabbi Lezer is unsure whether whether that 50% that he does have, is it clear? Is it real? Perhaps even that 50% is lacking and deficient, and therefore we don't treat him like a bardas. But certainly whatever he has, whatever he doesn't have, is all the time, it's consistent throughout. It's not a fluctuating entity. That's one side. So we know he's not fully capable. He's somewhat lacking, somewhat limited. But that bit that he has, is it 100%? Which would be enough to consider him a bardas, or even that part is lacking. Or the other side of the coin would be pshita ledadate klishta. V'lav data tzilusu. Rabbi Lezer knows that the das of whatever das the cheresh has is the klishta. It's lacking, it's deficient. It's not deemed proper das. V'lav data tzilusu. It's not clarity. So what's the shaila? Why would you consider his truma or his wife? The reason is because it's a fluctuating entity. Given the itim cholim at times he's healthy, itim shoit at times he's unhealthy. So that's the suffix. You'll never know when he did the truma. Was it at a point of clarity or not? You never knew when he was mekadesh the wife. So he treated it as a safek. The matter of kamina, this is theoretics. What's the? Is there any halachic effect to this shaila? Sure. Lohiti ishta beget. Cheresh marries. He wants to divorce with a get. Can he do so? It depends on these two stadim. If you say that whatever he has is consistent for all time, then kikidushin kakerishin. Then sure, he could be megarish. Whatever ability he had at the time of kiddushin, whatever kiddushin he generated, he counteracts it by doing a get. So one cancels the other one out. So that would work. But if the point is that it's a fluctuating scenario, sometimes he's okay, sometimes he's not. You'll never know where he's holding when. Kiddushim matzim mekadesh. So of course he could be mekadesh. Nothing wrong with that. Whether he is okay or not, he could be mekadesh. Right? Maybe it's a deraisa. If he's healthy, maybe he's at a low point, so it's the rabbanon. But either way, it's okay. Problem is girushi lo matzim megarish. But he can't be megarish. If he was mekadesh at a low point, fine. It's only with the rabbanon. He can release her the same way. But you'll never know. Maybe he experienced a period of clarity at that time. He was in a high, and he was mekadesh midaraisa. He was perfectly fine mentally, and now he's perhaps not in the same state. So this can't undo the kedusha Torah teiku. We leave it as a kash, as a shayla. Right? So what's the halacha teiku? It's an unknown. Meaning, by truma we see that Rabbi Lezer treats it as a suffix. And by cherish we assume the same, but what happens if he wants to be mekadesh and be megarish? We're not sure. Now the Rabbanon, Rashi points this out, the Rabbanon disagrees with Rabbi Lezer. They hold that cherish is not considered a bardas at all. In fact, they say his truma is worthless. So his marriage is worthless. Minat Torah. Just, he can be mekadesh with the Rabbanon. Now the same power, the same ability to be mekadesh allows him to be megarish. That was the Mishnah. Machnes b'ror miza, moitzi b'ror miza, because we treat them both as though they're on the same level, on the same turf. Nishtatis v'chul. The Mishnah says, if an isha becomes a shoita along the way, you can't be megarish. Why not? Amar Yitzchak dvar Torah, you should know that minat Torah, there's no problem. Shoita miskareshes. One could be megarish. A shoita. Why? You don't need her consent. Mididahava apikachas ba'al karcha. It's like issuing a get to a healthy isha against her will. You don't need her willingness. Shoita is no different. Umatam amru ena megareshes. So why? If so, did the Chachamim not allow you to be megarish a shoita? It's a gzera midrabanan. Technically, it works, but we're concerned shalayinagu ban minag hefker. If she's unwell, she might roam the streets unsupervised. It's not conducive spiritually, and therefore we say, you know what? Hold on to her. You're doing a great mitzvah. So minat Torah it works, but not midrabanan. Hechi dami. What type of shoita? What state? What mental state is she? What are we speaking about? She has the ability to hold on to her get, to accept the get and look after it. And to look after herself as well when she's out there. So what's the problem? Why would anybody interact with her inappropriately? What's the problem? Ella apparently was speaking she's not stable enough to look after the get that's given to her, or to look after herself. So then, Dvar Torah shoita miskareshes. So how could you suggest that minat Torah it works? You tell me minat Torah it's okay, just not midrabanan. In this case, it would not work even minat Torah. Va'amrit v'rabyanai. We learned in a brisa. The pasuk says v'nasam b'yada. You have to give the get into her hands. She has to accept it. That has to be secure and safe in her hands. Mishi yesh la yad legarish atzma. Only an isha who has the ability to accept the get, look after the get, to receive it. That is considered in the silas get. That's considered an issuing of the get. As opposed to an isha who's not mature enough or not mentally stable enough to look after the item that's given to her, that's not considered issuing of a get. You haven't given her anything. She hasn't really accepted it. We have another brisa, another reason why a shoita cannot go through the divorce process. You have to send her away. Send her away for good without having her turn around and come back. An Isha who understands, look, it's over. I'm gone. I'm not coming back. That's a gerushin. Yotza says, as opposed to a shoita who doesn't have the ability to understand what's going on. You send her away, she comes back. That's not a gerushin. Oh, so apparently we're not speaking about an Isha who's experiencing this severe mental imbalance. If it were so, the gerushin would not be valid even in Torah. Like tzricha, apparently we're speaking about something in the middle. She's stable enough to look after the item that's given to her, the get. She'll receive it, she'll accept it, hold on to it. But she's not mature enough to look after herself. That explains the halacha that we said. So in Torah it works. Because she looks after the get. She accepts it. You have given her something. That's Torah. But still, the Chachamim don't allow it. Don't give her a get. Concerned about inappropriate behavior. If we take a close look at the wording of the Mishnah, we'll see as such that what? If the man is a shoita, then you can't do anything. But if the isha is a shoita, min ha-Torah, he can be megarisha, but not midrabban. When the Mishnah refers to her, what does it say? Nishtatis, if she became mentally unstable, lo yoitzi, he shouldn't do it. We devise against it. Apparently, min ha-Torah it works. We don't allow it. It's the Rabban. Begabe didei, as opposed to when the Mishnah refers to him becoming a shoita along the way, lo yoitzi lamis, he cannot give a get. Lo yoitzi lamis. It's an absolute expression. Never. Maishna, what's the difference between one and the other? Maishna hachadik tani lamis. When he's a shoita, it says lo yoitzi lamis. It's absolute. U maishna hasam. The lo tani lamis, as opposed to when the isha becomes a shoita, we say lo yoitzi without adding oy lamis, that absoluteness. Difference is when he's a shoita, there's nothing he can do. He's the one issuing the get. He's not able. Lo yoitzi lamis, unless he turns healthy again. But otherwise, in its current state, there's no get min ha-Torah. When she turns shoita, we devise against it. But technically, min ha-Torah works. And what's the concept behind it? So we had this in the Mishnah, and the Gemara explained it right here, that the pikachas, right, a regular isha, can get divorced even bal korcha. You don't need her willingness. You don't need her haskama. So technically, even when she's a shoita, it can work. And when she's a chireshes as well, even though she's lacking das, you can give her a get. As opposed to when the man is experiencing mental difficulties, he's a cheresh, he's a shoita. He is the one issuing the get. He can't do so in his current state. And this idea was really the subject of dispute in our Mishnah. When the Chachamim presented this halacha, Rabbi Yehuda Kessler challenged it. He says, well, what's going on? What's the difference? Right? He says, why are you allowing an Isha Chereshes to receive a get, but the Ish Cheresh cannot issue a get? What's the difference? Now, there are two ways to learn his objection. Iboilu, the Bnei Yeshiva asked as follows. Rabbi Yehuda, when he objected to the Chacham, which way was he going? Both l'chumra or both l'kula? Ish pshitale, was he okay with the man Cheresh not being megarish? He understood why that doesn't work. That wasn't really his objection. His objection pertained to the fact that we're allowing the Isha Chereshes to have her get. And he would like that the Isha and the Isha should be on the same boat. Just like the Ish cannot be megarish when he's not okay, she can't either receive a get when she's not okay. So both are l'chumra. That was his point. Or perhaps the other way around. Both l'kula. Isha pshitali. Rabbi Yehuda fully agreed that the Isha is a cheresh, so you can be megarish her. You don't need her das. The Ish kamebele. His issue was with the man. Why are you not allowing the same by the man, a cheresh? He wanted both to have the same halach. So both are asa or both are mut. Which way was he heading? Tashma, bring it right from the Mishnah itself. But because the Chachamim respond to him, sometimes from the response you can deduce the question. They respond to him as follows: you can't compare ha'isha megarish l'isha miskareshes. The ish that's doing the gerushin is playing a different role than the isha who's receiving the get. Sha'isha yotzes l'ritzoyna v'shle'ritzoyna. The isha can be sent out with or without her consent. Even a chireshes can be at the receiving end of a get. Va'ish einay moitzi ala ritzoyna, as opposed to the ish. We'll explain to you why the ish who's a cheresh cannot do the gerushin. You know why? Big difference, because he's the one giving the get. You have to have his askama, you have to have his willingness, his consent, his das. So what does it sound like? Shmamina, it sounds like ish kamiboyle. That they were making their case regarding the man being asur, to be megarish in this state. Apparently Rabbi Yehuda was vying in the other direction. Just like the ish is okay, the ish should be okay too. And they were saying, no, the ish is different. Ish cannot be megarish when he's a cheresh, as we just explained. Adrab, just the opposite, says the Gemara. Maybe Rabbi Yehuda was suggesting that they're both no good. Well, how do we know? Midi ka'amrle, because later on in the Mishnah, they respond to him by saying, Av zu kayotzeba. We had the halacha of the isha chereshes over there, and they said, look, this is proof to our position. A chereshes can be on the receiving end of a get. Shmamina isha kamiboyle. Now it sounds like they were trying to make their case regarding the isha. Sounds like he didn't like the isha getting a gerushin when she's a cheresh, and they were saying, yes, look, we support our position from the halacha there, from the testimony of Rabbi Yehuda, and good, the whole story in the Mishnah. Apparently, he was trying to suggest that both are no good. Ish cheresh or the isha chereshes cannot be involved in a get, and they were disagreeing regarding the isha. Isha chereshes is okay. So which way is it? Was he trying to be machmer on both or mekel on both? Elo, says the Gemara, perhaps Rabbi Yehuda Manuri devreim kamerlu. It sounds like Rabbi Yehuda Manuri really was trying lechumra on both accounts. Just as the ish cheresh cannot be involved, likewise, if the isha is a chereshes, she has to be a participant, a sane individual, taking part in the process. You can't just give her a get when she doesn't know what's going on. So the same halacha that applies to ish applies to isha. But we had that lashon which sounded a bit differently. It sounded like they were trying to explain why the ish is no good. So it sounds like he was trying to be make. So how do we work this through? Says the Gemara, Elo Rabbi Yehuda the Reim Ka'amarlu. He was just relating to them on their wavelength. Meaning like this. Lididi, my personal opinion is that they're both asur. Whether the man is cheresh or the ish is chereshes, you can't do a get in this state. Just like if the man is a cheresh, he cannot be megarish. Isha nami la megarish, likewise the isha, when she's a chereshes, no gerish. That's my personal opinion. Right? But according to you, you hold otherwise, right? You hold that isha chereshes can be a part of the gerushin. Ma'ishna isha, ma'ishna ish. What's the difference between the man and the woman? Right? So to that, they responded by saying, big difference. Einay doima ha'isha megarish, l'isha miskareshes. A big difference between the man and the woman. The ish has to be bardas, but the isha does not, and that explains why an ish cheresh can be megarish, cannot be megarish, but an isha, even when she's in a state of chereshes, not really comprehending, part of the process, you can issue her a get. So bottom line is, the Gemara seems to conclude that according to Rabbi Yehuda Manuri, it's no on both accounts. Ish cheresh, no get. Isha chereshes, no get. And they responded by saying, and he presented them with a quandary. What's going on? I hold both are asa, but according to you, How could this be mutter and this be asr? Big difference, they said. He is the initiator, and she's just on the receiving end. Hey, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yehuda, good Geda tells us, yeah, you can give a get even to a chereshes. You don't need her consent. Amar Rava may do so. Shel Rabbi Yehuda, good Geda. Based on this testimony, we will learn the following halacha. Amar le'edim. Husband turned to the edim and he says, look, Ru'u geit zeh shani nois. Look at this get that I'm about to hand to my wife. Then he turns to his wife. So this was done out of earshot. Then he turns to his wife and he says, look, I have something from you. Kinsi shtar chayv zeh. Here, accept the, here, take the shtar chayv, the loan document. So he hides the fact that it's a get. And she takes it. Hareza megureshes, it works. Why? You don't need her consent to activate the get. Mi loy amar Rabbi Yehuda good Geda. Haven't we just learned from Rabbi Yehuda? Loy beinadati, you don't need her consent. Hachanami here as well. Loy beinadati, you don't need her involvement. Pshita, of course. Well, obviously, it's a direct correlation. What's the chiddush? Says the Gemara, there is a chiddush. Perhaps I would think to say that midda amarla, the fact that he calls it a shtar chayv in front of her, perhaps bituli batle, he nullifies the get by doing that. Kamashmon, the chiddush is no, we don't have to suspect that he was mevatel the get. It's still a perfectly valid get. Why? He is the batle, because if indeed he had a mind to be mevatel the get, la'edim kamerlu. He would have told the edim, look, by the way, this is a batel. In fact, he didn't tell it to the edim. In fact, he told the edim it's a get and never retracted. It's clear that he's not trying to be mevatel the get. So why then did he address his wife in this manner? He was simply embarrassed. On account of shamefulness and embarrassment, he concealed the fact that it was a get. But of course, it was a get, and it remains as such, even though his wife wasn't really part of the process. She wasn't aware of the contents of the get. In fact, she was misled. It doesn't matter. As long as she received it, it's hers, and she's divorced. Okay, so what do we learn today? With the Rabbanan, a Ketana can have Nesuah and Achereshes as well. There are two differences. Actually, three differences. If we add yesterday's difference, a Ketana could just do a Miyun, a Chereshes not. We're concerned that people will shy away from the Chereshes if she could just walk away on them. A Ketana can eat Truma because nobody will mix her up with a Gdoila. A Chereshes cannot because next time they might feed a Pikachas Truma D'Oraisa. A Ketana gets Ksuba, but not a Chereshes. Again, the point is, people will hesitate to get involved with a Chereshes. You have the case of the Cheresh, who was looked after by Rav Malchayoim, who committed a Ksuba on his behalf because he was looking out for his benefit. He felt it was to his benefit to get involved in this relationship. What about the Isha of a Cheresh? We have two versions of Shmuel. Version 1 says, if one interacts with the Isha of a Cheresh, there's no Asham Tali. The Gemara concludes that perhaps even if the Cheresh is a Safek Bardas and his wife is a Safek Eshes, but still Shmuel would hold that Asham Tali is not brought unless you have a choice between two clear options, as opposed to this case where the choice, both aspects are within the same person. That's not going to generate Asham Tali. According to version number 2, there is an Asham Tali. A, because he follows Rabbi Lezer's Shita that a Cheresh is a Safek Bandas, and even this type of case generates Asham Tali. What is a Safek Bandas according to Rabbi Lezer? Is it that we're not sure how to define his lack of knowledge? Or is it that we know exactly what it is, but it's a fluctuating, unknown entity? Sometimes he's okay, sometimes not. Nafkamina would be, if he marries, can he go ahead and divorce? We leave it as Teiku. The Mishnah speaks about an Isha who's a Shoita. Minatora, the Gerishin could work, but don't do it with the Rabbanan because of the Hefka concern. We're speaking about an Isha who could look after her get, but she's not mature enough or not stable enough to look after herself. Don't do the Gerishin. There's a concern of Mineg Hefka. On the other hand, if the Ish is a Shaita, in that case he can't even issue a get Minatora, because he's the initiator of the process. He needs to be Bardas. Rabbi Yehuda disagrees. He says even when the Ish is a Chereshes, you can't give her a get. The Gemara concludes, Shitas Rabbi Yehuda good Geda and the Chachamim is, yes, you don't need her consent. You could do it Bal Karcha, even if she's a Chereshes, And even in this type of case where he was embarrassed and misled his wife into receiving that get, the get is still a get. Take care and all the best to you. Hatzlacha Rabbah.